so much, Mark. As we enter a weekend that includes Good Friday, Passover, and Easter, there has been a global call by religious leaders for people to be joyful. That feeling of well-being doesn't always come easy, at least according to a new book titled Engineering Happiness, a new approach for building a joyful life. Joining us is co-author and professor Rakesh Sarin from the Anderson School of Management at UCLA. Go Bruins. Good morning to you, sir.
Thank you.
What an interesting concept. And it comes at a very interesting time. Just this week in New York, the country of Bhutan presented its gross national happiness index at a UN conference.
Right.
That is such an interesting thing to think that we are even starting to look at this globally.
Right, because often we have emphasized economic progress, and what we want is for our society to have emotional well-being as well. So it's a balanced approach.
Well, in the book, this book takes a very mathematical approach to the happiness equation.
Right.
So are you saying that people aren't just born with happiness?
Yes, because our view is it is like a sailboat. So your happiness could be influenced by wind currents and ocean currents, but you have the control of the rudder. So regardless of your situation, where you are in the world, where you are in your life, we can all improve our happiness.
Well, we have seen that. I think people that have traveled to various parts of the globe have been in parts of the world that have suffered great tragedy and what have you, and yet still find the people there to be profoundly happy and joyful.
That's right.
So, okay, let's talk about this equation and the formula.
Right.
How can we do that? Because talk to the people at home right now. If they're in a circumstance, because we know that joblessness and unemployment and our housing crisis has left people in dire straits.
Right.
How do they face that?
So, you know, the key point that we make is that money is important so that you can support your family and have economic security. But beyond a point, money does not contribute to happiness. So we have to look elsewhere. And if we think about in daily life, when we are the happiest, when we are talking to or spending time with somebody we love, like our friends and family, and those are the things we call basic goods that we should be emphasizing. So I can tell you a little bit about the equation if you want.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, so our simple equation is that happiness is reality minus shifting expectations. So as we work hard to make more and more money, buy a bigger house, maybe buy a fancier car, our expectations shift. So for a while we are happy, but then expectations catch up with reality. And there is no wonder that American millionaires living in these mega mansions are barely happier than Maasai warriors who live in huts in Kenya.
So talk about the happiness traps. Explain that concept.
Yeah, so the thing is, if we are oriented towards social comparison and we are oriented toward material goods acquisition, every time we want a new model of TV or new model of iPad or new model of iPhone, then happiness is not going to knock at our door. But we emphasize our friends and the basic goods, then happiness, we will realize happiness.
We have really just scratched the surface on this. The book is called Engineering Happiness, a new approach for building a joyful life. Given the fantastic weekend we have with family and friends this weekend, this might be a great book to pick up, maybe share with somebody. Professor Rakesh Sarin, thank you so much for your time, sir. A joyful man, to be sure. Look at that smile. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, still ahead, the anticipation of opening day.